Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Tuesday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today on this Tuesday?
Couldn't ask for a better playoff weekend than the one we just had. Really good. All the games. Really good except for the 49ers Seahawks game. But the other three,
what side you're on.
The other three were nail biters, and I love that.
Okay, well, let's jump into it because we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of news that we got to discuss. Coaches being hired, coaches being fired. And that's the topic we're going to start with tonight, which is, I think a lot of people are saying the very
using Wi-Fi.
Apologize for that. The very shocking news that Sean McDermott is now out as the coach of the Buffalo Bills after 9 seasons, making the playoffs and really killing their playoff draft for years at that point, making it with Tyrod Taylor, and then Josh Allen took over, and it was basically lights out from there, making it play year after year after year in the playoffs. Sean McDermott is out after 9 seasons and a playoff loss to the Denver Broncos. So my question to you is, are the Bills making the right or wrong decision in firing Sean McDermott?
I have mixed feelings about it. Said the owner, Terry Pagula, said we are in need of a new structure within our leadership. And so they decided to fire McDermott, but the GM, Brandon Beane, got promoted to president of football operations. They've avoided, I think the Bills have avoided major changes despite repeated playoff disappointment. Now they've decided they've got to make changes with Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson out of this year's playoffs. It seemed the Bills had the clearest path to the AFC Championship game and getting to the Super Bowl this year. Instead, Allen had his worst playoff performance in years against the Broncos. McDermott took a team that hadn't made the playoffs in the 21st century to the playoffs 7 times after he was hired in 2017, so he's been quite successful. He was 98-50 in 9 seasons. He's Buffalo's second winningest coach, trailing only Marv Levy. The Bills likely to land the top candidate given that Allen's still in his prime. I'm surprised the GM was promoted in a leadership shakeup as the Bills have not drafted any really outstanding players recently except for James Cook. I mean, I think Allen precedes Beane's tenure as GM. Their defense is shaky at best, I think, particularly against the run, and it doesn't generate much of a pass rush. Who do I think they might hire? Maybe Joe Brady. Maybe Joe Brady, the Bills' offensive coordinator. Maybe he'll move up to the head coaching position. He had outstanding success as moving up to offensive coordinator when they fired their OC and promoted him. Davis Webb might be a candidate. He's a Broncos passing game coordinator. Nate Scheelhaus, the Rams passing game coordinator. Clint Kubiak, the Seahawks offensive coordinator. Maybe Mike Tomlin might get a look. Mike McCarthy, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think McDermott, after the game, we both agreed that McDermott didn't deserve to be fired after this game. It was the players on the field that turned the ball over 5 times in this game that was a loss. It really wasn't on McDermott. He won a game. He won the playoff game last week, and this they could have easily won this game. The bunch of mistakes that happened. Dalton Knox, wide open, headed into the end zone with 16 seconds left in the game. Could have won that game, and they didn't. So firing McDermott may be something they'll live to regret.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be fired because of this game, but I have said in the past several times over that he would have been fired because it's simply put, clearly it was if you lose before the Super Bowl, you're done. You're finished. You're finalized. It's done. You're being fired. I don't care how the game ends or how well Josh Allen plays. It seems like if you lost before the Super Bowl with the pathway that you had, you were going to get fired. And that's exactly what happened with Sean McDermott. It was time. Sean McDermott, to me, and I've said this in the past, maybe not on the show, but I've said it previously to other people, Sean McDermott is the NFL's version of Mark Jackson, former head coach of the Golden State Warriors. You get the Splash Brothers together. You make Josh Allen Superman and an MVP candidate, and you make it to an AFC Championship game or two. but you can't break through the wall, whether it be 13 seconds and all of a sudden you're playing bracket coverage and the Chiefs had 2 timeouts and they go boom, boom in field goal range, kick the game-tying field goal, send it into overtime, and you don't even have the ball in overtime and you ended up losing. By the way, I might add, they are 0-3 in overtime since they changed the rules for that game, post that game in overtime in the playoffs. I'll add that as well. Josh Allen also has never won a postseason overtime game. Add that to the fact. What's interesting is that besides the blowout against the Chiefs and the blowout against the Cincinnati Bengals when they were 5.5-point favorites at home against Cincinnati, Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills have had a fourth quarter lead, and they've blown it. Very John Harbaugh-esque, very this year Brian Dable, although I think a lot of people can now finally admit it was more Shane Bowen. But this had to be done. You have to find your next head coach to finally break through that wall, whether it be because of Josh Allen or because of bad late game decision making or because of, I don't know, a missed field goal or two. You have to figure out somehow to hone Josh Allen in the playoffs, late in the game for him to make the easy plays in order for you to finally break through the championship wall and finally, for the first time since the 90s, make the Super Bowl. Hopefully you don't lose 4 straight again, but at least make it to the Super Bowl and eventually bring home the Lombardi. What I find very interesting, and you mentioned it, and this also just adds on to it. A new report by, I want to get this right, I want to make sure, Vic Carucci of WGRZ in Buffalo said, quote, the Bills organization leaders had a meeting with Sean McDermott weeks ago, and he pointed out flaws on the roster that were preventing the team from reaching the next level. They did not like the fact that Sean McDermott was pointing out the flaws in the roster. And what happens? Your general manager who has had maybe 2 or 3 hits in the draft over the last 5 years, he gets promoted to president of football operations, the head coach gets fired, and everybody thinks it's okay. Or a majority of people think it's okay. I don't think keeping Brandon Beane was the right thing to do because, again, if Sean McDermott's pointing out the flaws and the team owner doesn't like his assessment of the team, he takes it maybe as a personal shot, and you somehow promote the guy who put the roster in a position to have Josh Allen need to be Superman, when you will know it eventually, and I said this on Friday's show, he's going to be Clark Kent at some point. He can't be Superman the entire playoffs. It's unsustainable, and we've seen that year after year after year after year. Again, a lot of this does fall on Sean McDermott. He's the head coach. He has to coach at the players that he's given. But I said this for a lot of coaches before that I've criticized. And honestly, a lot of players, in defense of a lot of players, you have to coach or play with the people that are around you. Uh-huh. If they suck, well, in that case, Josh Allen needs to be Superman. But the point that I want to throw out there is the defense, which is Sean McDermott's baby, it didn't work. They were terrible against the run.
Mm-hmm.
Pass defense, they were fine.
Players. They didn't have the players out there. Who was their big star on defense?
Well, it depends on what you're thinking of. Joey Bosa was a phenomenal pass rusher this year.
Joey Bosa's past his prime.
He was one of the best. He was one of the highest graded pass rushers by PFF this season.
Yeah, well, I think he's not quite what he used to be.
Well, he's older. Of course, he's not what he used to be.
So, I mean, they picked him up as, kind of a retread. I mean, he did have a good season. I'm not criticizing that. But besides him, who else do they have? Who's a wonderful player?
Ed Oliver, who came back for this game, defensive end.
They don't have any pass rush. They have very little pass rush, and they can't stop the run.
Well, McDermott, I'm sure
McDermott pointed that out. I'm sure McDermott pointed that out. They don't like it. They lose the game. I think it was an emotional reaction to fire him. And, that's not how you should run your organization from an emotional standpoint. Maybe he's been there quite a while, 9 years. How many NFL coaches last 9 years in this day and age? Not very many. So I think he'll get another head coaching job.
I don't think he should jump right back into head coaching. Again, for these coaches that have a lot of success, unless you're John Harbaugh and the job is there, unless he's going for the Ravens job. There was a report literally about a half hour, 45 minutes before the show. Mike McDaniel's taking himself out of the Browns running for their next head coach. You know why? The Browns are a mess. We've seen other coordinators pull themselves out and prefer coordinator positions over bum organizations just to become the head coach. You know why? Give it 2 years, you're going to be fired again. If you're on a good team and you're a coordinator, you will definitely get a head coaching job again. That is a definite. We just saw Robert Saleh do it, which is going to be our next topic. But if you go to another team and you're a head coach of a bum team and you fail, what's the likelihood you're going to get another head coaching job? Next to nothing.
Yeah.
Who's on phase 3 of head coaching? Josh McDaniels did it twice and was terrible both times. Where is he? Stuck probably is forever the OC of the New England Patriots.
No, it's not so bad.
Right, it's not so bad now. But what I'm saying is, like, what are you going to be another head coach? Where is the opportunity going to come?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if the Ravens called McDermott to interview for their job, I'm pretty sure he would listen.
That's the only job that I would consider.
Yeah.
That's the only job where I'd be like, okay, I'll go. Because the Raiders, they need to rebuild too much, and you have to deal with Max Crosby still being pissed at the organization. The Browns, no. Just absolutely not. You have to put up with way too much, and God forbid people think you're not giving Shador all of the assets.
But look at McDermott. When he came to the Bills, they weren't good.
They just made the playoffs the year before with Tyrod Taylor.
In 16, they made the playoffs?
2017.
No, in 2017.
2017 with Tyrod Taylor, the year before they got Josh Allen. They made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor. So, again, are you defining that as a bad team? They made the playoffs. They were one of at that point, was it 6 teams to make the playoffs? So, I don't know how you're gauging how bad the Bills were. He was able to break that streak of missing the playoffs year after year after year after year.
Their coach was who at that?
Sean McDermott.
Yeah, okay. So, he made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor.
Right, but you said it was a bad team.
No, but before he got there, it was a team that had not made the playoffs since in the 21st century. In 16 years, they had not made the playoffs.
Right, the last time they made was 1999.
So
correct.
he made the playoffs in his first year with them.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach.
So he could, maybe he wouldn't mind a turnaround situation. I mean, the bar is set pretty low when you go to a turnaround operation. Don't you think the bar is set pretty low at the Browns?
No.
You think the Browns are expecting to win big time this next year?
They want to be competitive. You know why? Look at who their quarterback is. Kevin Stefanski was ripped week after week after week for sabotaging Shador Sanders. A week later, after he gets fired, he's the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Watch what he does with the Falcons in that division. They're going to win 10 games next year. I guarantee it. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be, but for me, it doesn't matter. He was not sabotaging Shador, but everybody thought he was. Everyone was like, put Shador out there. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Dylan Gabriel, by the way, performed better than Shador Sanders did. No one wants to talk about that, but that is the case. I think the best location for Sean McDermott to go, I think he should be the DC of the New York Giants. I think there's a wide opening there. I think the best move forward for the Buffalo Bills now is Joe Brady. I agree. And how about a familiar face in Brian Daboll?
They said Brian Daboll was talked about, but they don't think he'll get it. And they may not even want it.
I think it might be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it might be a great idea.
Yeah. Well,
because he made Josh Allen less turnover prone in the red zone.
I don't
he made
think
him more condensed.
Yeah, but
in the lesser field.
Josh Allen's learned all that. I'm not sure he needs. I'm not sure he needs. Well, he didn't learn it on Sunday, right? He had a terrible game, which is very surprising to me. Was it Sunday or Saturday? I guess they were Saturday.
This was Saturday's game, yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Brian Daboll. It could be Joe Brady. It could be somebody we're not even thinking. Some dark horse candidate. I don't know. But I would think that the Bills, after the success that they've had and stability they've had with McDermott, wouldn't be looking to take too much risk. I would think they'd go with somebody that is well known to the organization, like Joe Brady, or somebody who has a successful coaching record previously.
Well, if we remember last year, Joe Brady was being ridiculed by everybody for how bad the play calling was at times. Josh Allen going, 2 of 7 on and one situations or and goal situations against the Chiefs.
I mean, they may have criticized him, but Allen was the MVP last year.
Again,
right?
some people didn't think he deserved the MVP. They thought it should go to Lamar for having 5,000 total yards last year. And this year, how did they defend it? He was Superman occasionally, and then sometimes he would go back into his turnover ways. And in this game, that's what we saw. Josh Allen had a lot of turnovers. 1 or 2 of them you could say wasn't his fault. I'd give him 1 that wasn't his fault. But he just played very poorly. And the defense, which, by the way, again, you were going up against a head coach who wins 27% of his games when they allow 17 or more points against playoff teams. Add that to a win column. You gave Sean Payton another win in that category, moving it to 37 wins over the course of his career, and the 5th win out of 19 potential games under those circumstances. He was 4-14 before this game. Now he's 5-14. And also the quarterback eventually on that QB sneak that I thought was weird, fractured his ankle and is out for the rest of the year. So there were opportunities to be had. We're going to talk about the game in a couple minutes here. I don't think it's all on Sean McDermott. I just think that this is the Mark Jackson. You respect the hell out of the head coach. It got you to a point, but there is a wall. You need the next head coach to break through that wall.
Yeah.
Now, would that have been Kevin Stefanski? Would that have been John Harbaugh? What are those two coaches thinking about now that, I could have had Josh Allen? I could have had James Cook.
Yeah, I think John Harbaugh might be thinking twice now. Although he has $100 million in his pocket, so.
Fair enough. All right, let's go to the next topic here. So this news broke, and it was pretty crazy. I don't even know what to say about this. Robert Saleh is now the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans. The Titans decided to move forward with him. It was him and Matt Nagy. Those are the final two coaches that they spoke to. The Chiefs already moving on from Matt Nagy and hiring Eric Bieniemy back to be their OC after he was the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears this prior year. So overall, I want to know what your reaction was. Do you like or dislike this hire by the Tennessee Titans?
I like it. I like it quite a bit. Apparently, they had 18 names that they considered. They came down to Nagy and Saleh. They were hoping for Harbaugh. I think the owner was headed up, gassed up a plane and was headed up to talk to Harbaugh, but he picked the Giants instead. That team needs some stability. They have fired either a head coach or a GM in each of the past 4 years. Back-to-back 3-14 seasons, just horrendous. They see Saleh as a head coach who isn't afraid of conflict and is willing to hold people accountable. He learned a lot from being the Jets head coach about conflict, that's for sure. Saleh he's a defensive coach, so someone else will have to coach Cam Ward. They need an OC that will maximize his potential, I think. And most defensive coaches like a game manager who doesn't turn the ball over. I'm sure Saleh will preach that in terms of Cam Ward and his turnovers early in the season. Although it improved a lot, and it was visible late in the season when he limited his turnovers and he doubled his touchdowns in the last 5 games of the season. I think to turn things around, Saleh needs to reset the foundation, setting a tone in the locker room, non-negotiable standards. They need some depth at cornerback and an edge rusher, and they have an all-pro lineman there. They got to make sure he continues to outperform. They're going to pick in the fourth with the 4th pick in the draft this year. I think they'll likely go defensive. A lot of people are saying they expect the Titans' defense to be very good next year, and Saleh is an excellent defensive coach. He had the Jets were one of the best defenses when he was there. It fell all apart after he left. Look what he did with the 49ers when they had the 2 best players hurt and didn't play most of the season. They were competing for the number 1 seed in 1 week, and they were in the playoffs. So, I think it's a good hire, and I think he learned a lot from being the Jets head coach, and I think he'll find a way to get the Titans competitive. Maybe not so much next year, but the following year.
Yeah, I see a massive parallel between this hire and a hire from 8 years ago, was it? This is Mike Vrabel 2.0. That's what it is. Because Amy Adams stunk it up with Mike Vrabel, who wanted, I guess, better communication. He was arguing with the GM. There was a power struggle, and so the owner fired him. That's what this is. After 4 out of 6 winning seasons and the number 1 seed in the AFC in 2021 and winning a Coach of the Year, you fired a guy who is currently in the AFC Championship game. I think that's what this hire is. This is a regret of what happened in the past and trying to redo. Because that's kind of what Robert Saleh is. He's going to try to build that culture because look at what he did when the 49ers, as you mentioned, the 49ers defense was so banged up and how well the 49ers defense played for Robert Saleh, and they went as far as they can go. And then eventually, expectantly, they hit that massive brick wall that is known as what I'm calling the Legion of Boom 2.0 in the Seattle Seahawks. Mike Vrabel, here's the only difference. Mike Vrabel is a significantly better coach than Robert Saleh is. I think that he builds a better culture. I think players believe in him more. And I'll also add there is more stability on the New England Patriots, not only just based on personnel, but also on history and based on culture. Do your job with Bill Belichick. And now, I forget the saying, but what is it? We're all we need or something like that. The new Patriots saying was, there is a better culture, a winning culture, a historic franchise compared to the Tennessee Titans, who have done basically nothing outside of the Mike Vrabel years. I just think that Robert Saleh, this was a position that I don't think Robert Saleh needed to be in, because this is one of the ones I was talking about. One of the jobs where you're going to get fired within 3 years. Unless all of a sudden the general manager of the Tennessee Titans, whose name is Mike Borgonzi, if he nails this draft, okay, then you might have one good year. But look at what the roster was this year with his first selection. The defense was abysmal, 28th in points allowed per game, 21st in total defense. The roster was basic. I said it all year. All year. The Tennessee Titans are not an NFL team. L'Jarius Sneed, who they spent a bunch of money on, did nothing. It was banged up. Simmons, they're all pro. He was basically a no factor. The offensive line, non-existent. The running game wasn't that good. They were ranked 30th in the NFL. Cam Ward couldn't stop turning the ball over, then improved a little bit, but ultimately it didn't matter because you still weren't good enough. Congratulations. You beat Shedeur Sanders. Something that Joe Burrow couldn't do or Aaron Rodgers couldn't do, so I'll give you a lot of props. And the first win came on 3 Stooges by the Arizona Cardinals. So I don't think this team is set up for success. I don't think Robert Saleh is all of a sudden going to turn the 21st ranked total defense into a top 10 defense. I don't think the draft is going to go particularly well. I think that, unfortunately for Robert Saleh, because I thought from the very beginning Robert Saleh deserved to be a head coach, I think that this is not a good position for him to be in if you're considering and if you consider Robert Saleh to be a very good head coach or a very good coach overall, because you need massive turnaround. No real receiver help. Calvin Ridley banged up and wasn't that effective. No effective running game whatsoever. You ranked 30th in the NFL. Quarterback, Cam Ward, going into his second year, wasn't all that great. Improved slightly over the course of the year. Offensive line, non-existent. Defensive line has one guy who did basically nothing this year. Linebacker core doesn't have one. And the cornerback group and the defensive back group overall, you got nothing. This is not an NFL team. I do not see some massive turnaround for the Tennessee Titans going from what they are now to all of a sudden competing in the AFC South. I do not think, yes, this hire, I believe, is the Mike Vrabel 2.0. Trying to rebuild the culture, rebuild what you had with Vrabel, but Robert Saleh is not Mike Vrabel. I can't believe I'm saying it, but the best years the Jets have had were with Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson at quarterback, and they went 7-10. That's what I'm saying is the Tennessee Titans ceiling in 2 years. I think they could very well win 5 games next year. And I still think people are going to be calling for Robert Saleh's job at the end of next year. And you know what? I wouldn't blame them.
What's their schedule look like next year?
I would have to bring up their opponents. I don't have it on me.
Okay.
Would you like me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, then you got to give me a second. Have any other takes left for the Titans?
I think it's a good choice for Saleh. I think the bar is set low there. It's been a horrendous situation ever since Mike Vrabel left. They lost Derrick Henry. I'm sure they looked on that at the seasons he's had since he left there, and maybe regret it. They drafted Cam Ward. He turned out to be not so much. Had a lot of problems and didn't play well. And that's after they drafted Will Levis, and he was not very good either. So they have no wide receivers to speak of. Their offense is just horrendous. The defense has a few players on it. I think Saleh will get a lot of mileage out of that defense and improve it a lot, just like he did the Jets defense. I think they have a fourth pick in the draft, and they have a bunch of picks this year, and he'll have some influence over that. And I look for them to improve. I'd like to know who they're playing next year.
I'll give you that in 1 second. And looking at the 2026 opponents, I do see maybe potentially one of the motivating factors on why Robert Saleh would choose.
One of the weakest schedules in the.
No. That's not why. I'll tell you in a second why. Okay. So if you again, this is not week by week. Of course, the schedule hasn't officially come out, but we know the opponents. So are we gonna do win-loss here?
I'll think about it.
As the roster is currently constructed.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I wouldn't say the roster is going to be different.
Do you think they're going to be that massively different?
I think they're going to make a bunch of changes. They have to.
Okay, fine. Let's start with the home games. So Texans, Indy, Jaguars. Cleveland, Philly, Pittsburgh, Washington, and this team, the New York Jets. Play them at home in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Road opponents. Like I said, Texans, Indy, Jacksonville. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Dallas, Detroit, Raiders, Giants.
Raiders, Giants.
Really?
Raiders.
Really?
Raiders. Okay. What were the first
Texans,
games?
Indy, Jacksonville.
No.
Well, let's do definite wins. So you're saying that the Raiders are a definite win.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Cincinnati, Dallas, Detroit, Giants.
Those are the road games.
Road games.
Oh, give me the home games.
Texans, Indy, Jacksonville, Cleveland.
Yep. I think they'd win that one.
The Jets.
Yep. I think they could win that one.
Philly.
I don't think so.
Pittsburgh. Washington.
I think Pittsburgh could be a possibility, and I think Washington could be a possibility too.
Wow.
5 games.
Okay, so like I said, he can win 5 games.
Okay, that's not so bad. That's better than this year.
Yeah, but again, if you're saying that the bar is, like, for instance, first-time head coach or really young head coach, that's where you give a lot of leeway.
You know what? Maybe I give them a win or 2 in their division. Maybe.
Who?
Maybe they beat the Jaguars. Right? The Jaguars, they're a spotty team occasionally.
What?
Maybe.
What?
Who else is in that division? The Jaguars,
Texans, Colts.
Colts. Maybe they could beat the Colts once. Yeah. So maybe there's 2 wins there. That would get them to 7 wins.
Wow.
If they won 7 games next year, that would be a huge success.
He's winning coach of the year.
Huge. He will be he'll be the coach of the year for sure.
If he goes 7-10, he's winning coach of the year.
Yeah.
Because this Texans team is not built to win within the next 7 years.
You said 5 wins. I'll say 6.
Yeah, because, again, that wasn't even looking at their schedule. I think they could beat Cleveland. Honestly, looking at this schedule.
It's a tough schedule.
I don't see 5 wins. I don't see 5 wins.
Oh, yeah? You don't think they can beat the Raiders?
The Raiders, I feel like, are going to do something real. I mean, apparently, there's a report out there they're going to push for Lamar Jackson. I don't think they will get him.
I don't think they're going to trade Lamar
But that
Jackson.
is apparently a big thing that Lamar could be going over to Las Vegas. I think he has a no-trade clause, so that would be up to him anyway. I don't know. All right, well, let's jump into some of the games. Let's get into probably the most controversial game of the weekend, and that is the Buffalo Bills going up against the Denver Broncos. This game both had an elimination and a fire. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills get eliminated, while Sean McDermott is now currently unemployed. Josh Allen, 349 total yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 4 turnovers on the game. Bo Nix, 308 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So I want to know, who do you think is most to blame for Buffalo's loss?
Okay, well, I'll start with my takeaway from the game. The costly win for the Broncos as Nick breaks his ankle bone, and disastrous loss for the Bills, which cost McDermott his job, making many Bills fans groan. So not just the fans, the players. The players came out and said, what the hell? Why are you firing him? They were surprised by it. A lot of people surprised that he got fired. Nix broke his ankle on the next to last play of the game, which is a freak accident. And now Jared Stidham, who took 1 snap all season, will lead the Broncos against the Patriots in the AFC Championship Game. And the 1 snap he took was a kneel down. Josh Allen had an uncharacteristically poor game with 4 turnovers after he had not had any turnovers in his previous 6 playoff games. Denver's game-winning drive came after Jaquan McMillan intercepted Allen's deep pass in overtime. The 5th takeaway in the game for the Broncos. How do you lose a game when you take the ball away 5 times in the game? That was just prohibitive that they couldn't come back from that. Somewhat controversial call, as it looked like to me like Brandon Cooks caught the ball and was down with control before McMillan wrestled it away from him. That one you can't really see it very well, but here this one's pretty good. Look, he's down, right? I just don't get that. I thought that call was a very bad call. The ref said that Cooks did not complete the process of the catch. He was down with the ball. How would he not complete the process? He lost possession when he hit the ground. I didn't see that. Play it again, please. The second round.
Okay. It's a full clip. And by the way, it's the process of a catch. He has possession on the ground. That's
well,
the
he
key.
does. Look.
No.
Yeah, no. He's got it. Now he doesn't because it's yanked away from him. That's a very bad call. They say he lost possession when he hit the ground. I disagree. The defender completed the catch process and was awarded the ball. I think that was a very bad call. And McDermott, that probably the play that lost him. Either that or Dalton Knox, the pass that he would have caught for a touchdown that Allen missed him with. Nick said nothing about the injury in his post-game interview. He said he was looking forward to the championship game. Allen threw 2 picks and lost 2 fumbles. Said he felt like he let his teammates down. He was actually looked like he was crying up there on the podium. I felt bad for him. I know everyone felt bad for him. With Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson, out, they weren't in the Bills' way. This was a missed opportunity for the Bills to reach the Super Bowl, I think. The key plays, the Broncos scoring 10 points in the last 22 seconds of the first half. Broncos got a field goal after a strip sack of Allen on the first drive of the second half. There's a bunch of them here. Hold on. The one we just watched, Alex Singleton's forced fumble by James Cook with the Bills up 7-3 and driving with 13:27 to go in the second quarter. I think Nick's hitting Humphrey for the 29-yard TD with 22 seconds to go in the first half to take the 17-10 lead was a huge play. And Allen missing the open Dawson Knox on 3rd and 10 from the Denver 32 with the Broncos up 30-27 with only 16 seconds to go. If they'd scored that touchdown there, it was over. And then McMillan intercepting Allen in the overtime with 7:55 to go. And then the Broncos going down and getting that field goal. So I think Prater's 50-yard field goal with 5 seconds left, force overtime was big as well. So it was an excellent game. Too many turnovers by the Bills, prohibitive to winning a game like that, to turn the ball over so many times. You look at the stats on the game. Allen, you mentioned 25 of 39, 283 yards, 3 TDs, two interceptions and 2 fumbles. He had a 48 quarterback rating. Cooks had a good game, 24 for 117 yards. Allen had a good running game too, 12 for 66. Kincaid 6 for 83 and a touchdown, and Shakur 7 for 75 without a touchdown. There's another weakness of the Bills, I think, is their wide receiver core. Allen makes them better than they really are. Knicks, on the other hand, 26 of 46, 279, 3 TDs and interceptions, 64.7 quarterback rating. Knicks was the lead. They had no running game at all. That was, I think, what kept the Bills in this game. Knicks was the leading rusher with 12 rushes for 29 yards, and Mims was the leading receiver, 8 for 93 with a touchdown. So, they had no running game, the Broncos. That's got to be alarming, particularly when they're putting Stidham in there now for the AFC Championship.
Well, yeah. And we talked about this before. This was a game, and you could see it on everybody's face. They kind of knew something. I don't know if people knew exactly what, but people knew that something was changing. Because I think they were starting to feel the pressure, whether it be Deion Dawkins at the podium saying that Josh Allen, the game wasn't on him, whether you see Josh Allen crying at the podium, saying that the game was on him, or if it's Sean McDermott complaining about the call to the media and then to Bills reporters about how bad that call was. First off, it was already said by Walt Anderson that if McMillan did not even catch the ball, it hit the ground, it would have been ruled an incomplete pass anyway, because he did not control the ball as he was falling to the ground. Yes, a screenshot of him holding on to the ball, but if he lost the ball and McMillan wasn't there, it would have been ruled incomplete. It just so happens that McMillan was the one who ended up with the ball on the ground. But this was a classic Superman turns back into Clark Kent. Again, the numbers look great, but Josh Allen put him in a hole where he needed to have good numbers. Are you kidding me? The turnovers in the game was embarrassing. Josh Allen on this one, to end the first half, you don't have any shot of scoring points. You're on the 30-yard line. And what do? You fumble badly. And people blame the linemen. Please, linemen can't catch balls when they're wide open, let alone fall on one. This one, again, I don't really fully blame Josh Allen. They decided to put Khalil Shakir on Nick Bonito. I'm not sure what exactly the protection call was there. This interception, it looked good. It maybe looked open, but the safety undercut the route, and it was a beautiful play. I mean, again, you're kind of tossing it up there. You're driving when you're down by 6. You're trying to make an easy play, and this one is the controversial call that everybody has an issue with, that was consistently ruled that he was not fully controlled as he was coming to the ground, a.k.a. interception. This was on Josh Allen. And if you don't even want to include all those interceptions, how about just taking a look that he had the game on the line, wide open, Dawson Knox, and he missed the easy throw. He missed the easy one. He could be Superman all he wants, but he missed the easy throw. There's no other way to put it. And then, okay, fine. He missed the easy throw. So what? They go into overtime. On the Bills' opening drive, after they forced the Broncos to punt, the game should have ended when Josh Allen was on the goal line. So that interception didn't mean anything. People complained about the 53 penalty yards the Broncos had. Wouldn't even matter. You know why? The Bills held in the end zone. Safety, game over. Broncos move on anyway. So no matter how you spin it, Josh Allen, turnovers, which by the way I think led to 9 points. And if you include the Dawson Knox one, Josh Allen cost his team 16 points. It was a 16-point swing. So no matter which way you cut it, whether it be the hold in the end zone, which would have ended the game, whether it be the 4 turnovers that effectively ended the game, whether it be missing a wide open Dawson Knox that would have ended the game, Superman became Clark Kent. Now, is Josh Allen still a very good quarterback? Yes. And I see a lot of people making excuses for Josh Allen's poor play. I don't get it. He played poorly. That's what quarterbacks do. I've defended great quarterbacks when they have poor games. I've bashed expectation. I bashed bad quarterbacks who have bad games. But the expectation is this was the easiest path you've ever had to make the Super Bowl. No Joe Burrow that beat you in the playoffs when you were 5.5-point favorites. No Lamar Jackson, who nearly tied the game and you've had trouble with occasionally here and there. Especially week 1, remember? They put up 40 points somehow, be able to come back because the defense of the Ravens fell apart. And here's one, your arch nemesis in the playoffs. No Patrick Mahomes. This was your easiest pathway to the Super Bowl. No matter what would have happened. If you lost in the AFC Championship game and got shut down by the Texans, who you already lost to, or lost to the Patriots, who you already lost to, I think Sean McDermott would have been fired anyway. It may not have been less than 48 hours after the game. Maybe it would have been a week later or so. But I think no matter what, the expectation was, because of the pathway that you have, no Burrow, no Mahomes, no Lamar, you had to make it to the Super Bowl. And because you didn't, in a weakened AFC, because let's be real, yes, the Broncos have a good defense. We bashed Bo Nix all season on his lackluster play. He'd open the game 0 for 6 with an interception. He didn't look that great. It'd be the 4th quarter, and that's where the Broncos would shine offensively. And by the way, down J.K. Dobbins, they changed the way they had to call their offense. It was much more pass-heavy. What about the Houston Texans if you played them? We just saw what C.J. Stroud did against the New England Patriots. They have no running game. Nico Collins was out. We were like, okay, is this as long? And that's the expectation. We thought C.J. Stroud, if you just play okay football, the Texans will win because we didn't trust the offense at all. The Patriots, you already beat them. They were up 21-0. The Patriots were, and you came back and beat them. So I don't think we could complain about whatever we want to complain about. And honestly, if we go back, what if Trevor Lawrence doesn't start diving before the first down on the 4th down right by the red zone? What if he doesn't throw the stupidest interception with 59 seconds left in the game? Maybe they're down by the wild card. I don't think this team would have made the Super Bowl anyway. I think going into it, it would have been you have to be Superman game after game after game after game. And I texted in my group chat, as soon as he missed Dawson Knox, if the Bills lose, it'll be because of that. Overtime and that controversial call didn't even matter because that throw was everything. Wide open, Dawson Knox, and you missed him. Everything after that, and by the way, it adds it to worse. You forced the Broncos to punt in overtime. You're in sudden death. You don't need to make the big-time deep throw. You did it. It cost you. That was the game. That's your season, and now you no longer have a head coach.
Yeah, I think some of the, as you say, the selection of plays there, a little questionable. Maybe some of that goes back to Joe Brady. When you're moving the ball nicely to throw that deep shot That's risky.
Down
Why
by
not?
6, you throw a deep shot. Makes
Yeah.
no sense. You're moving
Yeah.
the ball. You're down by 6. You don't need to make the big-time play.
Yeah.
In overtime, you're in
Yeah.
sudden death.
Yeah.
You just have to get to, the 40-yard line? You're in Mile High Stadium.
Yeah.
Just get to the 40, you can kick a field goal, and all of a sudden you're in the AFC Championship game. Playing against the Patriots or against the Houston Texans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is a missed opportunity.
Now, hindsight is 20/20. The quarterback handles the ball on every play, and when the quarterback doesn't play well, generally you don't win.
16-point swing off missed opportunities and off turnovers.
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, we can play about the Bills' defense. Bo Nix could have scored touchdowns on every single one of those turnovers, minus maybe the one at the end of the half. They could have gone down and scored touchdowns. Instead, they were I think a majority or all of them were field goals. So, again, we could complain about the defense. And by the way, might I add, one of those interceptions, that was on a drive that just ended on a Bo Nix interception. So there were opportunities to be had. Josh Allen became Clark Kent. He couldn't be Superman all the time. And that's not blaming him. That's just being realistic. I said that on Friday. I said that on Tuesday's show recapping the Jaguars. I said that Friday's show 2 weeks ago talking about the Jaguars preview. When is he going to become Clark Kent? And it was in this game against the Denver Broncos. All right, now we're going to take a quick break, but coming up, we got more games to cover. We got the crazy thriller in the tundra between the Rams and the Chicago Bears, the Patriots and C.J. Stroud handing in the award for worst quarterback of all time in the modern NFL, maybe? Who the hell knows? 4 interceptions, then he looked terrible. He should have been benched for Davis Mills, maybe. And finally, also, the shellacking over in Seattle. My God, what an absolute destruction of Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk about all those games right after this 30-second break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Tuesday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is the Seattle Seahawks going up against the San Francisco 49ers. And it was an absolute destruction from the get-go. Rashid Shaheed has a 95-yard kick return touchdown. The kicker tried tripping him, so he got penalized. But by then, it was over. I mean, the 49ers tried to make plays and failed. Special teams was obviously a key for the Seahawks with the Rashid Shaheed kick return touchdown. Sam Darnold with the oblique injury didn't need to do much. Kenneth Walker had the game of probably of the Seahawks franchise out there in the playoffs. It was just an absolute destruction on every facet of the game, offense, defense, special teams. So my question to you is, with this game, are you surprised at all by Seattle's absolute dominant victory over the San Francisco 49ers?
I am surprised at how big a margin it was in this game. I mean, the 49ers did not play well against them in the last game season there to determine the number 1 seed. And their offense couldn't do anything against the Seahawks defense, which is really a very impressive defense. What we've seen them play, specifically the second half of the season and now in the playoffs in this game, just a smothering defense. It's teams can't do much of anything with it. And my summary of this game is the Seahawks shock 49ers with opening kickoff return for a TD and dominate the rest of the way. The 49ers looked like they weren't ready to play. I mean, where were they? They didn't show up for this game. The key play and the momentum changer from the very start of this game was the Seahawks' Rashid Shaheed's opening kickoff return for a touchdown. What a play that was. And he had some other plays that were very good in this game, too. What a great pickup for them midway through the season. And why the Saints let him go, I've mentioned this on several shows. I don't get it. Walker had a great game. He rushed for 3 touchdowns. Darnold threw a TD pass and got his first career playoff win. He was very happy. And he didn't really have to do that much in this game. He was like 12 of 17 for 124 yards and a touchdown. He had a 63.2 quarterback rating. It was Walker who took the pressure off Darnold with 19 carries, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Kupp had 5 catches for 60 yards. Njigba didn't do much. He had 3 catches for 19 yards. He did have a touchdown catch. It was a very nice catch. Seahawks will host the Rams in the NFC Championship Game. Darnold led 2 more scoring drives after Shaheed's kick return to take a 24-6 lead into halftime. And the 49ers were never in this game, right from the very first play. 49ers couldn't get much of anything going as a result of the Seahawks defense, similar to their, as I mentioned, the last game of the season. Purdy, he is 15 of 27, 140 yards, no touchdowns and an interception, and he lost a fumble. He had a 37.3 quarterback rating. Purdy was the leading rusher, 5 for 37. McCaffrey had 11 rushes for 35 yards. Tongas was the leading receiver with 5 for 59, and McCaffrey had 5 for 39. 49ers just nowhere to be seen in this game.
Well, I don't think it was their fault necessarily. This was an absolute beatdown, though. This was the largest victory the Seahawks have had since that 2013 Super Bowl against Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. That's 35 points in the point differential. An absolute destruction. Start of this game, Rashid Shaheed kick return touchdown. The 49ers' first drive, you have to gain some momentum after it was just sucked out of whatever fans you had in that stadium. So what do? You try the weirdest triple option play I may have ever seen in that moment at that time. You call a pitch to Kyle Juszczyk, who then, when time ran out, tried to pitch it to Christian McCaffrey, and he fumbled that out of bounds, and it went nowhere on a 4th and 1. Then on the next offensive possession, Jake Tongas fumbles the ball. I mean, this Seahawks defense is the Legion of Boom 2.0. The 49ers went 0-3 on the 4th down, 3 turnovers, 0 effective running game. Purdy couldn't do anything. They couldn't get into the red zone the entire game. The Seahawks just did a phenomenal job on defense. I think Sam Darnold, oblique injury, that's what people are worried about. He hasn't thrown a football since the oblique injury. Well, you start with the 49ers kicking it to you. So you're like, okay, let's see Sam Darnold. 13 seconds later, Rashid Shaheed and the rest of the team are celebrating in the end zone. Okay, well, then you get even more rest. I just think that, this was an absolute domination by the Seattle Seahawks defense. This looks like the Legion of Boom. Not allowing an offense to do anything. Christian McCaffrey banged up, ineffective. You can't have him touch the ball 30-plus times every single game. It's the Josh Allen thing. You can't have him be Superman every single game. That's why a few years ago when there was this big debate about Brock Purdy's MVP case, everybody knew deep down, well, and by the way, the voters also said it to be true. Christian McCaffrey is more of an MVP than Brock Purdy was. And we saw it this season. What I do think, though, and yes, the Seahawks did a phenomenal job defensively. And Kenneth Walker, by the way, thank God. Thank God for Clint Kubiak finally allowed. I know it was at the unfortunate situation of Zach Charbonnet being out for the year with a big leg injury, but he finally let K9 loose. And he had some of the biggest runs in the game, along with 3 rushing touchdowns. By the way, those 3 rushing touchdowns are tied for the most in Seahawks franchise history in the playoffs, tying with Sean Alexander, one of probably at least the top 3 running back in the Seattle Seahawks entire franchise history. Kenneth Walker just tied a playoff performance by, yes, that running back. But I also think it has to. You have to be honest with yourself and realize, what could the 49ers possibly do? Again, people like to sort of make excuses for the 49ers every single year. Well, they're banged up. I don't know what it is with the Niners or Kyle Shanahan or the strength and conditioning staff. They are always one of the most banged up teams in the NFL. Whether it be Brandon Ayuk tearing his ACL, whether it be George Kittle getting banged up twice this year, whether it be Brock Purdy's turf toe, Christian McCaffrey being out for several plays every now and then. You also had Juwan Jennings dealing with injuries. You had, who else? I'm missing one. Wide receiver. Ricky Pearsall dealing with injuries all year. Injury after injury after injury after injury. And Jake Tongas, I think, was also banged up in this game at some point. I don't know what it is. Bad luck. Too hard on the practicing. Horrible strength and conditioning staff. The 49ers always seem to be the most banged up team on both sides of the ball. So I don't know what exactly you need to do. All I know is the Niners need to go back to the drawing board, figure something out on both sides of the ball. I think you need a better interior offensive line. I think you need another running back option because I don't think Brian Robinson's really doing much for you. You need to get some load. If Christian McCaffrey is going to continue his legacy and continue how much success he has in the NFL with whatever time he has left, you have to figure out a good number 2 piece. You got to figure out whatever is happening on your strength and conditioning staff and why a bunch of these players are getting so banged up year after year after year after year. It is utterly ridiculous.
I can't agree more. I don't understand it. How come they have so many injuries? I mean, this year is just decimating for them. And they still they give the coaches a lot of credit. They got a lot of mileage out of the players that they had. They made it to the second round in the playoffs, upsetting the Eagles. Which was somewhat of a surprise. I picked the Eagles to win that game.
Well, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, it was surprising based on the expectations. They were 6-point favorites, but look at the team. I didn't feel good picking them.
Mm-hmm. But they had some really clever plays in that game. There was a great coaching effort to win the Eagles game, and this game they just didn't even seem to show up.
Yeah.
So.
I think 49ers.
I think like the Kittle getting knocked out there, that was like kind of the final straw for them.
Probably, yeah. I just think that right now it's 49ers back to the drawing board. Seahawks, they advance to another NFC Championship
They lose
game.
Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator. That's a big loss.
Oh, yeah, big time. Big time. Now you have to figure out who your DC is going to be because we've seen, and you complained about the defense in the Super Bowl, what was it? Not last year, but the year before, but how bad the defense was. I believe that was Steve Wilkes' defense, or maybe it was Nick Sorensen's defense. But again, it's what are you going to do defensively? Who are you going to find to bring that same level of juice, same level of effort that Robert Saleh did now twice over? It'll be interesting to see who they pick moving forward. But no, I just think this is the Legion of Boom 2.0. I mean, there's no other way to put it. This is a lockdown defense. The running game with Kenneth Walker was really on fire in this game. Sam Darnold didn't need to do much, which obviously minimizes the amount of negative impact he could have. We'll see what he does this weekend against the Rams. I think it'll be interesting to see. All right, let's go to the next game here. Another fascinating one, maybe to some, maybe not to a lot of people, but it was the New England Patriots going up against the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud, after coming off a game where he couldn't stop fumbling, this game couldn't stop throwing interceptions. 4 interceptions, only 1 touchdown, 212 yards. Drake Maye also did not play very well. He had 179 yards. He did have 3 touchdowns, but he did have 3 turnovers to go along with it. So, we could definitely talk about the game, but I think overall, how concerning were both of these quarterbacks' performances? I mean, we expect a lot, but damn, this was a bad game.
Yeah. Well, my summary here is the Texans fans couldn't be too proud of the 4 interceptions by C.J. Stroud, while the Patriots capitalized on these mistakes and now play for the NFC Championship stakes. So, May threw 3 TD passes while Stroud threw 4 interceptions. I think that's the difference in this game. The quarterback handles the ball on every play, and Drake Maye had his moments too with an interception and 2 lost fumbles. So it was a tough day. It was snowing. I mean, it was wet. Those things had a somewhat of a factor. But Drake Maye, he redeemed himself with the 3 touchdown passes, but he's got to take care of the ball better. He fumbled the ball more than any other quarterback in the league this year. So he's got to, in the next 2 games, assuming they can get to the Super Bowl, he's got to clean that up for sure. I think the key plays in this one, Marcus Jones pick 6, that was a great play. I don't know if you've got that one to show us here.
I have all the interceptions.
Okay, so his Stroud.
This is the Carlton Davis
one.
one.
That was a great catch, huh? He was just barely in with his knee. And this one, he should never have thrown the ball. But look at Marcus Jones. He really, very good. I mean, there was a penalty there. He grabbed his face mask.
The tip
Then
pick.
that one, that was Woodson. And then this one.
That was Davis's second one.
Yeah, he got hurt, right? Didn't he get a concussion? He hurt his head?
Woodson did.
Was it Woodson? Or no, it was not Woodson. It was the other guy.
Was it Carlton Davis?
Yeah, Davis. He was out with some of the game there. They got to hope that he gets well because he had a big impact on this game.
You're right.
I think Maye's TD passes to Douglas, Diggs, and Booty were all pretty special. We've got the Booty one. I think. Can you key that one up?
Sure.
Look at this catch. This is amazing. He taps the ball to himself and grabs it. Look at that. Jay. And has the presence of mind in that short time frame to get his hands under the ball so that doesn't touch the ground. That's an all-pro catch in my mind. And Booty had a nice season. Other big plays, the Stroud's 4 picks, which we just saw, and the ability of the Pats to stop the run game. I mean, for C.J. Stroud, he didn't have Nico Collins. He didn't have Dalton Schultz. He didn't have any running game. Marks ran 14 times for 17 yards and Chubb 4 for 14. So, while Stroud's turned it over 4 times, you got to be thinking, I'm the only guy out here on offense. I don't have any help at all. I mentioned May had an interception and 2 lost fumbles, but the Texans were not able to really capitalize on those as Stroud kept giving the ball right back to the Patriots. 3rd year in a row, the Texans have lost in the divisional round. Stroud was 20 of 47, 212 yards, 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions, a 21.1 quarterback rating in his biggest game of the year. Stevenson had a nice game for the Patriots, 16 for 70 yards, and Booty, three catches for 75 yards and a touchdown in that circus catch he made. Diggs had 4 for 40 and a touchdown, and Douglas had 2 for 36 and a touchdown. Stroud, in my mind, he appears to be regressing in his 3rd year after being Rookie of the Year in his 1st year. He was without Collins and Schultz, as I mentioned, and had no support in the run game. I mentioned those things, but still, you got to be better than that guy. And I think they're scratching their heads. What's happened to him? He really did not look good at all. And he had moments all year long where he didn't look good. And last year as well. I think the Patriots look good, though, going into the AFC Championship game, particularly with Nix being out.
I think that this was a typical, and people have said it, the Patriots defense is very good, if not underrated. You said last week against the Chargers, this defense really hasn't played that way the whole season. And yes, they have. Early in the year, for actually a majority of probably the first half of the season, they never allowed a rusher 100 or more yards. They were the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. Now going up against Woody Marks and Nick Chubb. Yeah, what did I bet as a prop bet? Woody Marks under longest rush, I think it was 12.5, 11.5, and also Woody Marks under rush yards. Both hit. What I didn't expect is for this game to end up being which quarterback could play worse versus which defense can bail him out more. Because that's exactly what it was. C.J. Stroud handed in, or he actually received the award for probably the worst playoff performance in recent NFL history. Maybe Justin Herbert, who went against this team last year, maybe he hasn't saying that, but C.J. Stroud, he played scared. He played really, really scared. He did not have any confidence in his throws. It looked like he was just trying to get the ball out, not necessarily to somebody. Just give it the A+ effort. Not really. He just kind of threw the ball out there and hoped it wouldn't be picked off. 2 of those throws, one of them was tipped, but again, wasn't a great throw. The 2 of them were never throw that pass. And then there was also the Carlton Davis one, which was an overthrow. It was a great play by Carlton Davis, but, getting sacked and then the pick 6 or whatever the case may be. I just think this New England Patriots defense is absolutely legit 100%. This is the 5th most interceptions in a single game in the Patriots franchise history in the playoffs. It also ties the most turnovers forced in franchise playoff history. So they were able to get out to the quarterback and make a big-time impact in this game. The defense, obviously, of both teams is what kept either of these terrible offenses in the game. And yes, Drake Maye did have a couple nice touchdowns. I thought Stephon Diggs had a couple great catches in this game, absolutely. But I just think that, Drake Maye has one issue, and this is the issue I talked about on Friday. Can he get hit? Can he get sacked without fumbling the football? And the answer right now is no. Every time he gets hit, I'm expecting a fumble. I had the same issue with Mac Jones. Every time he threw the ball, I expected to get intercepted. Every time he stayed in the pocket for a little bit too long, I expected him to fumble the football. I now kind of expect that thing with Drake Maye as well. If he gets hit, if he gets touched, I expect the ball to come out. I think the running game, the Texans did a great job at slowing down the run, and I'll give a lot of props, a massive amount of props, to Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. The performance they had in this game was absolutely absurd. I mean, Will Campbell, he couldn't block anybody. He was a sieve in this game. I'll tell you right now. Will Anderson, 4 total pressures, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 run stops. That is utterly ridiculous. Danielle Hunter, 3 run stops, 1 forced fumble, 2 sacks in this game. They both had the only sacks that the Texans had the entire game. They were just abusing the outside tackles there, doing a great job stopping anything the offense of the Patriots tried to do, forcing Drake Maye into difficult passing situations. But I just think the only difference in this game was Drake Maye, when he had an interception or when he fumbled the ball, he was able to come back and make a big-time play, especially late. C.J. Stroud, once he had a bad play, he wasn't able to overcome the bad play with a spectacular play or with even a positive play. They had a couple great drives, but especially in that first half, once that 1 turnover, 2 turnovers in, we saw C.J. Stroud not trust himself, not trust the offensive line, not trust the offense. He played scared. And to open up the second half, they had a really good drive, and it turned into a field goal, and the defense kept him in this game. It was a 1-score game. The offense was just unable of the Texans to come up on top and capitalize on a really bad performance by Drake Maye. And that's why I'm a little bit nervous this weekend. Can the Broncos defense do just enough to force Drake Maye into some really bad situations, turning the ball over, and instead of him fumbling and then the Houston Texans offense having to go out there, can they turn those turnovers into defensive touchdowns? So doing an entire potential 14-point swing in favor of the Broncos next week. That's something that's going to be a great conversation on Friday, but I do think that is a massive X factor for this game. Because C.J. Stroud played terrible. Like I said, I think Bobby Slowick, I don't know what went on there. Last year, they had no offensive line. This year, the offense just didn't move.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Broncos had no run game in their win.
Right, they just had a guy who could throw the ball and wasn't turning the ball over.
Right.
C.J. Stroud just couldn't stop turning the ball over.
No run game for the Texans, no run game for the Broncos in the games this weekend. Whether the Patriots can keep the Broncos, hold them the way they did the Texans, I think they have a pretty good chance at doing that.
Drake Maye.
Poor Stidham, he's going to be back there. No running game?
Well, maybe. We'll see. The J.K. Dobbins could come back for this game. Drake Maye will be the first quarterback to face a top 5 total defense in each of his 3 playoff games since Cam Newton in 2015. The only difference is no QB has ever beaten 3 top 5 defenses in a single playoff run. There's an opportunity for Drake Maye. He was setting a bunch of Patriots history before. It's time for him to set NFL history in this one and potentially make it to the Super Bowl, beat potentially the Seattle Seahawks, and lift the Lombardi first time since 2018.
He can do it if he stops fumbling the ball. Stop fumbling that ball.
Good luck against that pass rush. You can't do that.
I mean, you had the most fumbles of any quarterback in the league this year. Stop fumbling it.
I think it's going to be difficult.
You got to stop doing that. Fall on it. Or just take the sack. He's out there with his hand to the ball out here. He runs with it. He's just hanging on to it with one hand. I mean, you can't do that in a game where it's snowing and it's raining and it's cold. Don't do that. Stop fumbling the ball.
Let's get into our last
I want to
here.
win the Super Bowl this year. There's a chance now.
There's a legitimate shot now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get to the final topic here, which is the Rams playing the Chicago Bears. The Bears at home in the frozen tundra out there. It's not Green Bay, but it's close enough. It was snowing. It was cold out there. Stafford did not play very well. 258 yards, no touchdowns. He did have no interceptions, though. Caleb Williams, again, people are praising quarterback play. I'm going to get into it. I have no idea why. I'll get into my take on why I think that, but I don't understand why people are praising him. Caleb Williams had 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions this one. Overall, my question to you is just, what was your reaction to Sunday night's game?
The Bears come back yet again with Williams' wild overtime, TD forcing overtime in his TD pass. That the Rams are able to overcome that and win in overtime showed some real class, I thought. You looked at McVay over on the sidelines after Williams made that play. His eyes were as big as saucers. I don't think he could believe that happened. I couldn't believe it either. Williams, he comes up with plays that are just amazing. And, but his completion percentage is not that great. And he made other mistakes, like 3 interceptions in this game. Hey, Caleb, I think that was maybe the reason you guys didn't win. The Rams survived an incredible throw by Caleb Williams that forced overtime. Do we have that one that we can show?
I don't have that. No.
Oh, that's too bad. That was it's the longest 14-yard TD pass in history. He retreated about 50 yards before he threw it, and a perfect strike to commit. Williams followed up by throwing his third interception in overtime, which the Rams capitalized on and driving for the winning field goal. I think his game-tying pass on 4th and 4 from the 14, but backpedaled due to the Rams' rush for a pass that went 51 yards in the air. Was a play that you don't see very often. I would say that was an amazing play. Johnson thought about going for two. That might have been the better call, actually, when you think about it. Then elected to kick the extra point to go to tie the game and send it into overtime. The Bears are noted for wild fourth quarter comebacks. And this one, it was an amazing fourth quarter. Stafford led a 91-yard TD drive with Williams scoring on a 5-yard run with 8:50 left to play. The Bears then drove to the 2-yard line, but Williams' fourth down pass to Burden was broken up. That's enough to break somebody's back in a game, but it didn't for the Bears. They still hung in there. They got the ball back at midfield with just under 2 minutes after the Rams kicker shanked a 33-yard punt. They drove to the 14 and scored on that big pass by Williams to Komet. The Rams went 3 and out and into overtime. And the Bears drove to midfield. And Williams, they were driving. I don't know why they threw such a long pass there. They converted fourth down with Williams carrying the ball himself at midfield, but then he threw that third interception, and 2 plays later, and the Rams got it together and went down the field and got that field goal for the win. You're right, Stafford didn't have a great game. His QBR was 31.6. Williams had a good game rushing the ball, 21 carries, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Parkinson was the leading receiver, 3 for 56. Nakua had 5 catches, but only 56 yards, and Devontae Adams, 2 catches in that game. Williams, 23 of 42, 257, 2 touchdowns. The 3 interceptions killed him. Swift, 19 for 76 yards. Williams had 5 carries for 40 yards. Loveland, 4 receptions for 56, and DJ Moore, 5 for 52 and a touchdown. Great game. I really enjoyed that game. Felt bad for the Bears losing. I think you're going to hear more from Caleb Williams down the road.
I'm kind of shocked by everybody out there saying that either one of these quarterbacks, whether you're a fan of Matt Stafford saying, oh, the way to come back in the snow was great quarterback play, or Caleb Williams, I thought he played great. ESPN gave him a 72 QBR. What? I'm sorry. It might just be me. I wasn't impressed with either quarterback's play. I thought both played terribly. I thought Matt Stafford in this offense, and I kind of do blame Sean McVay in the offense, they didn't play Rams football. Kyron Williams, in the second and third quarter, ran it 3 times for 34 yards, a little Todd Monken-esque, and he did have a touchdown in the first quarter, where I think he ran it 4 times for, 30 yards, I think? So why not run the ball more in the snow when Matt Stafford struggled to complete passes? Just an idea. If your passing game isn't effective, try running it. You're running back. Third quarter, in the second quarter, 2 carries, 24 yards. In the third quarter, 1 carry, 10 yards. Why not run the ball a little bit more? To me, that I didn't really understand it. Late in the game, they finally decided to play Rams football. Kyron Williams, 12 carries, 44 yards in the fourth quarter. I thought Matt Stafford didn't play very well. I thought he played just good enough and not turning the ball over, kind of like the CJ Stroud thing. Defense played just good enough to win. Matt Stafford didn't turn the ball over and give Caleb Williams and the Bears offense opportunities to score. So, again, if your defense plays well, like the Rams did in this one, just don't be CJ Stroud. In this case, don't be Caleb Williams. And that's something else that I find shocking. ESPN giving Caleb Williams a 72 QBR scale of 0 to 100. He had a 59 passer rating. He had struggled to complete passes. They sucked on fourth down. Some of the calls to me didn't make any sense. He overthrew a lot of players. There was a really key third down. I think it was 3rd and 5 at the very end of the game that he missed. I think it was the play right before the hero play. And again, that's what part of Caleb Williams' game infuriates me, and I'm sure infuriates a lot of people. He struggles to make the easy plays, but he goes out and makes the miraculous plays. Again, are we just saying because he made that crazy throw of a 50-yard red zone touchdown to Cole Kmet in the left corner of the end zone that he played well? No, he made a really great throw. Maybe the throw of the decade. But he didn't play well. He didn't really play even that good. I thought there were a lot of plays left out on the field. I thought Ben Johnson called a very bad game. I thought he called a really, really bad game. I thought both top-tier offensive playmakers, I thought they both called really, really bad games. I thought a defense that was really bottom of the league like the Chicago Bears was, they stepped up to play. They stepped up to play in a big way. I thought the crowd also was a big-time factor in this one. Delay of games early in the game, forcing timeouts as well. I thought they did a great job in stopping Stafford and really disrupting some of the offensive calls. But I just think that this was a bad game by bad quarterback play. And yeah, there was some crazy plays like the Caleb Williams one and whatnot. But I just thought, to me, I wasn't impressed at all. I thought that there was a lot left on the table for both teams. I thought the offensive play calling for the Rams was questionable through the first 2-3 quarters of the game. And I thought Ben Johnson just got outclassed quarter after quarter. And some of the fourth down calls I didn't understand. 4th and 1. There's 9 guys on the line. I have a great idea. Let's repeat what we just did on 3rd and 1 and run into the teeth of the defense. 9 guys there. Let's run right into them. Huh? Meanwhile, we see bootlegs succeed at a high level. Try that with an athletic quarterback. I thought Caleb Williams should have ran much more than he did. I thought there were opportunities for him to extend drives instead of roll out and try to make a crazy throw that ended up in the Rams' hands 3 times. I thought there's way too many plays left out on the field for the Chicago Bears, and the Rams took advantage of that. And late in the game, picking off Caleb Williams on a bad decision. Again, the Josh Allen thing. You're driving. You're in sudden death.
Right.
You don't need to do anything besides kick a field goal.
Right. I mean, there's unlimited time. You have unlimited time in a playoff game. It's not like the clock's going to run out.
Your defense forced the Matt Stafford punt.
I think they had, 7 or 8 minutes when they were driving. Even if they ran it down to nothing, they'd still start another quarter.
They had 6:47 when that
okay, so there was no time element that was a problem there. It was, what down was it when he threw that interception? Second down?
That was 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8
on the Rams 48-yard line. So they were in Rams territory.
Yeah, they weren't far from the from field goal range. Yeah,
correct.
That was a huge mistake. I think the play calling there was bad. But all that said, on the Bears' defense, I would say they never gave up. Right? They hung in there till the end.
They played like they did.
They made that a miraculous play at the end to force overtime. So despite all the mistakes along the way, and there was that big mistake in overtime, but despite all those mistakes along the way, they were still in the game. They still had a chance to win it. I think they could have won it if they hadn't tried for big play there. I don't get it. I think there was a miscommunication, right, between Moore and
Caleb
Moore
Williams
went down and he thought he was going to cut across.
Correct. He thought he was going to flatten the route. Instead, DJ Moore kept going upfield.
Even if he flattened the route, given where he was standing, I don't think he would have caught that ball.
That would have been at the best a pass breakup.
Yeah.
At the very worst, what it ended up being. I think I have all the Caleb Williams turnovers here because these were just bad. This was an interception overthrown. What are you doing? You don't need to make that kind of a play. I think that was just a really, really bad throw. The next one here, I think this one was also pretty bad. Caleb Williams just going, looks right, fires. He wasn't even open. He threw it to the Rams guy. They looked like a reception by a Rams player. And this one, the overtime one, this one we just talked about, tried to flatten the route.
I mean, look how far away DJ Moore is. He was...
I just think that these turnovers are unacceptable. He played backyard football. I said controlled chaos. This was just chaos. You couldn't control it in a game like this. I think that this was self-inflicted wounds, and the Rams took advantage of it and were able to win the game. And now they're moving on to the NFC Championship
Rams are lucky to win
game.
this game because you're right. Stafford did not play well. Nakua only had 5 catches, less than 56 yards. I mean, and Devontae Adams really nowhere to be found. He had 2 catches. He had one, the very nice catch.
Yes.
But and it was a critical catch. But 2 catches for him? Come on. I guess the Bears defense, which had been giving up a lot of yards and a lot of points all season, really came to play in this game. But the weather may have had a factor on the Rams as well, right? They're a warm weather team.
Matt Stafford is the only quarterback since the 1970 merger to throw 40-plus passes, complete under 50% of his throws, throw for 0 touchdowns in a road start, and still win. regular season or postseason. Other quarterbacks combined were 0-99-1 in road starts since the merger with those particular stats.
Oh, that's interesting.
So add 1 to that win column, and that's Matt Stafford.
Oh.
Now they go up against a situation where this season it does not favor them. 0-2 straight up as underdogs on the road. Actually, just as underdogs. Seahawks are 14-1 as favorites.
Well, they
this
split
season.
with the Seahawks this year, right? In the regular
Well, yeah,
season.
because Sam Darnold threw 4 picks.
Yeah.
Look at that when Sam Darnold doesn't
I don't
throw
see that
4 picks.
again, right? Given the way their defense is playing, Sam Darnold hands off most of the time. He's a game manager. Suits him pretty well.
With
and it
that
works.
defense.
Yeah.
With that defense
That
and
defense,
Kenneth Walker playing as well as he did, I would take that too. I mean, it minimizes the opportunity for him to have 4 interceptions like he did against the Rams, which cost him that game.
Okay, 2 games this weekend, championship games. They'll be great to watch.
Broncos,
Nice
Patriots.
matchups.
By the way, I don't know if you've seen it. It's Sean versus Mike versus Sean versus Mike. Mike McDonald versus Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Sean Payton versus Mike Vrabel.
Huh. Interesting.
There you go.
The Sean Mike duo.
Yeah. And think about it. It could be a repeat of the 2013 Super Bowl, Broncos Seahawks. It could be a repeat of the 2014 Super Bowl, Patriots Seahawks. It could be a repeat of the 2018 Super Bowl, Patriots Rams. I don't know if the Broncos ever played the Rams in recent history. That Super Bowl's not coming to mind off the top of my head. I could be wrong.
We'll have our picks on Friday, and we'll
So
see
stay
who
tuned
we
for
think's going to the Super Bowl.
So stay tuned for
You
that.
can guess who I think it might be.
I mean, just based on the matchup, I think. I mean, they moved from 4.5-point favorites to now 5.5-point favorites.
I think their defense, Mike Vrabel, I give him a lot of credit.
You should.
He really has those guys believing. And for a defense that is probably, well, aside from the Rams, I would say the Seahawks have a better defense than the Patriots, and the Broncos probably have a better defense than the Patriots. Although the Broncos' defense been a little spotty. Lately.
I
They
agree.
figured out some things. The teams have figured out some things. So the Patriots have been making some big plays. Their secondary playing outstanding football.
Still don't love Carlton Davis. His coverage scares the hell out of me. He had a lot. I think he had, at least for a majority of this game, the only
His
penalties.
interceptions are very nice. That first one, to get your knee down inbounds there.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
He was the only Patriots defender to have a penalty, and he had 3 of them. That's what scares me. Also, he had really good coverage in this game, but we've seen him against Drake London earlier this year against the Falcons. He got cooked, absolutely cooked. So I'm a little bit nervous.
I like the Patriots pass rush. It's been pretty good. That's something
Milton Williams. That's
something they're not really noted for. You know,
not this year.
Not this year. They've had good pass rush, but in the past, they've never had a great pass rush. So
That's fair.
It's nice to see it occasionally when the quarterback just standing back. They'll say, "Who do I think I might like to throw it to?" Nobody brushes them, but now it's a different ball game. I give Mike Vrabel a lot of credit.
I agree. All right, for this show, that wraps it up for us. My name's Nathan. That's the wrong thing. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We have been your host of the Harvey Hour. You can catch us Friday for our AFC and NFC Championship picks, as well as coaching news. I got a lot to talk about when it comes to some of the coaches out there. We got to discuss some of that. Mike McDaniel out for the Bears. For the Browns head coaching job. There's a lot going on in the coaching carousel this offseason, so we'll talk about that, I'm sure. Stay tuned.
McCarthy. I haven't heard his name.
He got an interview.
With who?
Off the top of my head, I forget, but he did get an interview.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. But yeah,
I
for
think
this
he's a pretty good candidate. I'm surprised I haven't heard more about him.
Wow. I don't know about that. All right, well, you'll see us Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
All right, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.